Hey guys, we're back. Today we're coming at you with a couple cases from ESR as well as their screen protectors for the iPhone Air. Now, this thing is built like a tank. It's slim, it's beautiful, but I'm just not ready to go caseless on this. So let's take a look at what ESR is cooking up to give this some more protection and peace of mind. Let's get right into it. All right, guys, so for the iPhone Air, we just have two different options. We have the Classic Hybrid, which is their clear case, as well as the Cyber Tough series, which is their rough and rugged, a dual or two-part case. That's why it's coming in pink. This one is 7 times the military grade protection, while the Classic Hybrid is 3. So we'll get the boxes off to the side. We also do have a screen protector, which they're saying is 7 times stronger than a generic screen protector. So maybe that's just your cheapest one that you can find on Amazon. Maybe that's the generic one. But I want to start off with the Classic Hybrid. So we'll get this put on. Snaps right on really easily. And if you're shopping for clear cases, if you're comparing against the Apple clear case, there are some pros and some cons. You know, one major one, obviously being a pro, that the price is about half. This Apple clear case is about 50 bucks, where ESR is $25.99, and I also do have a discount code. So if you use the links in the description below and hit BUCK25 ANI, you're gonna get 25% off. So that's gonna bring it way further down. But some cons are just the overall thickness. The Apple case is 7.7 millimeters, while the ESR is 8.4. And then the weight. Apple's 21 grams, super duper light, and this one's 44. So on paper, you're thinking, you know, okay, there's definitely some cons there, but you know, this is a great case, but so is this one. This one just makes it feel a little thicker, but you're not losing the real superpower of the thinness of the Air. You still recognize and realize that this is a super light, thin device, but you're getting, you know, a little thicker sides to hang on to. So it doesn't really feel like it's just gonna, you know, fall out of your hands. Even though this thing's built like a tank, you know, just holding it and having it in your hand just kind of feels a little bit better with the ESR, I'm not gonna lie. It also has little airbags on each corner to really help you with that 3 times military grade drop protection. But the superstar of this case is the stash stand. So it opens right up, super strong hinge. It snaps in closed, so this thing isn't gonna loosen up over time and get super annoying. These hinges, they last for years. I've had it on multiple iPhones, and you know, I don't see them wearing down. So this just gives you the ability to watch your videos in landscape mode or even in portrait mode. You can scroll through TikToks, or you can take a FaceTime call and have this really awful angle where people just see your double chin, or maybe just mine. But hey, that's not what I would use it for. But with that, you can also still use your MagSafe accessories. So if you need to charge while you're watching a video, you can do that. With this battery, it'll just keep your phone topped off at all times. This thing is great. Video coming soon. You can throw your wallet on there, so you're not having to take your wallet off if you're watching something. A lot of kickstands are either built in right here at the bottom, or you have that obnoxious like 360-degree ring that when you're, say, pulling a wallet off or something on and off, it's just going to pull it with you. Whether you have it on a charging stand, you rip it off, that thing's coming off. So I'm not a fan of those. But also, say if you have an SSD like this one, these magnets are super strong. This stuff's not coming off. So again, with the wallet, you know, wallet's a little bit different. The Apple Wallet, not the strongest magnets, but it takes some force to really push this thing off. So you're going to be happy with the MagSafe capabilities with ESR's cases. And you also get that camera control button. Now, I'm a stickler on this now. If Apple's going to add it to the phone, I'm likely going to use it. Some people don't like it. They didn't like the action button a couple years ago either, but you know, it just takes a little bit of getting used to. So you're going to be able to, you know, do your zoom in, zoom outs, things like that. The camera control button works just as good as Apple's does. And then also I wanted to show off just the cutouts for the USB-C cable. I've been doing this with, you know, some other cases, but say if you have a USB charger with a super big housing, like this is a Thunderbolt 4, it's still going to plug in there perfectly fine. So you're not going to have to take your case off if the only charger you have around is super thick, or you have a Thunderbolt in your Mac. You're not going to have to take your case off, which is definitely a plus. So this thing also does come in a ton of different colors. You can choose this clear. There's a clear backing with a black border, as well as the frosted series. So frosted black, navy, green, and pink. So a ton to choose from. Like I said, with that discount code, maybe throw a couple in your cart, add a screen protector, and throw that 25% discount on there. You're probably still coming out cheaper than the Apple case. So that's the classic hybrid. Let's move on to the next one. So the CyberTough. This thing, kind of strange because you're buying a super duper thin phone, but then you're throwing a fat case on it. So this thing comes in at 74 grams and it's 11.5 millimeters. So you're adding some serious thickness to your super thin device. But I think, for me at least, this isn't an everyday case, but this kind of comes in certain situations. So, you know, depending on your job, say, you know, you're working in construction, you're, you know, working by the beach, things like that, working in dirt, you want to keep your phone protected at all times while you're working. But when you get off work, maybe you want to have your nice, thin, slim phone. So, you know, maybe I'm wrong about that take, but that's kind of what I see it as. Is at least I would never use this as an everyday phone case, but certain situations, if I'm going to the beach and I want to have my USB-C house protected, maybe if I'm going camping or hiking, something gone for the weekend, maybe I'd throw this bad boy on. It does come with that stash stand, which is excellent. Again, they can hold it up in both landscape and portrait mode. And it's got these big claws on the corners for that drop protection. So it's going to be super duper safe in this case. Maybe with a screen protector on there as well. We'll go ahead and throw one on. It has that camera control. So that, even though this is a thicker case, that like zoom and all those features, they work perfectly. So shout out to ESR for making a thick case that can still use and utilize that camera control properly. And then those MagSafe magnets, they're again super strong on this one. I've seen on their advertising they throw this on like a mount for like mountain biking, things like that. Maybe that is a perfect use case. So super strong magnets. Not sure if it would hold up during mountain bike riding, but I guess it just depends on kind of the trails you're hitting. So you can charge up, use your wallet. Your wallet's not coming off. That plastic backing gives it a little bit of friction on there. But like I said, this is a two-part case. So part of this peels right off. I don't know if I could take this just one side off, but I'll take this off. Not that big of a deal. You do get a nice backing, like a rubber. It's not super thick, but you do get some padding on the back for your phone. But this whole piece is just one big padding. So you got this hard plastic piece and then this soft like silicone rubber type of piece. So I want to show you the USB-C ports on here like I did with the classic hybrid. So let's pop this back in. and bam. You are getting also little grills over your microphones as well. But let's see if we could throw in that same Thunderbolt cable, and boom, gets in there fine. So even with that cover, you're not going to have to worry about, you know, kind of picking certain different types of cables. Maybe only the Apple cable can fit into it. No, you should be good with pretty much everything. So this one comes in at $28.99, so a couple bucks more expensive than the classic hybrid, but you're getting much more material, rugged case. Even though I'm not personally a fan of huge rugged cases, that's just me. But to see what other manufacturers are doing with their thicker rugged cases, you're not going to find one as nice and durable as this ESR one for that price point. $28.99. Again, use the links, use that discount code, get 25% off. $1.25 ANI. All these other cases, they're like 50, 60, 75 bucks. That mouse case, 75 bucks, 85 bucks if you want a different material on it. So, you know, if this is what you're into, this is what you're into. Not my cup of tea, but that's okay. So we got those two, the classic hybrid and the Cyber Tough. All right, guys, and lastly, I wanted to show you that Armorite screen protector. So again, like I said, 7 times stronger than a generic screen protector. And the reason why I wanted to do a screen protector, I never really do these things, but with my 16 Pro, that screen got scratched up kind of a ton if I wasn't wearing a case on it, if I didn't have a lip around that thing. So I wanted it for that, but then also just for anti-reflective coating. Now the phone already has it on there, but I wish it was a little bit better. So this screen protector also says it adds 50% less reflectivity, 25% less light loss, and 50% less haze. So they got these cool little housings to throw it in, and I want to see how they work. So you just slap your phone in. There's a video to set up. Looks like a little like anti-bubble little scraper. And you get 3 of these in here. So that goes down first, but you do got to take that piece off. So you keep this down. That's securely in there. Let me get these out of the way so we can see this stuff. But so that's down in there. There's little, you know, grooves to put the actual screen protectors in there. One's already loaded. Close it up.
Yeah, stop playing. I mean, if they give me one right now, tear it up live.
Boom. It pulled right off. Do we wait a second? Do we see what it's like? Let's pull it off. Okay, so is it on there? Yeah, it's installed. And I don't see, I see a couple bubbles right there. But let's see if we can just push them out. Looks good. It's got a little bit of an edge to it. If you're swiping up, not really, I don't really feel it, but if you're coming in from the sides, I do kind of feel it. What about if we throw the case on? Now with the case, because of that raised lip, you don't feel anything. So it literally feels like there's nothing on here. That's an Armorite screen protector. Super easy to install. These are like $19.99 for 3 of them. Add them to your cart. Get that 25% off. Use those links and you'll be good to go. So that was that. Pretty simple install. ESR, screen protector, classic hybrid, as well as the Cyber Tough. All right, guys, so that's it. The ESR Classic Hybrid is the clear winner for me out of these two. Now, although it's not as thin and light as the Apple version, it does give your device more protection. It's got a stash stand, it's got a ton more colors, and it's about half the cost. So if you use my links below and apply that discount code BUCK25ANI, you could pick up a couple different colors and the screen protectors and still be below that Apple price point. So if you're not already subscribed, please do so below. Like and hype this video up, hype it up, and help this channel grow. But until the next time, it's Sean with Buck Life. Peace.